Welcome to SATV News. This is Qazi Farhana with your headlines. Tariq Rahman returns to Bogor after 19 years, calls for dignified Bangladesh. Jamaat Islami aims to permanently eradicate the culture of dynasty politics, said Dr. Shafiqur Rahman. National Citizen Party pitches 36-point election manifesto, political, economic and social reforms promised with good governance. Now in details. BNP chairperson Tariq Rahman today said he wanted to build a country where people from all walks of life can live with dignity and enjoy equal rights. Speaking at a wheelchair distribution program organized by CSF Global on behalf of Dr. Zubair Rahman in Bogor City, Tariq also said Bangladesh should be a place where people can overcome differences and contribute to society with unity and self-respect. If opportunities are provided for persons with disabilities, they can participate in society like everyone else. They are valuable members of our community with many talents, he said. After almost 2 decades, BNP chairperson Tariq Rahman returned to his district Bogora and stood in his ranks of the common people. BNP Senior Joint Secretary General Ruhul Kabir Rizvi said a political group is using religion through organized online groups to make obscene and derogatory comments about women in the country. He also said people would no longer tolerate secret activities by such groups. He made these remarks at a press conference held at the BNP chairperson's office in Gulshan today alongside victimized women activists. He also said Jamaat does not have any female parliamentary candidates and alleged that women would suffer the most if the party comes to power. He claimed the party's Amir has publicly stated that its top leadership position can never be held by a woman. Rizvi questioned the party's leadership, saying they are unclear about their own stance. He said the party talks about reducing women's working hours but denied making such statements in an interview with Al Jazeera, which he said creates confusion among the public. Mentioning women's participation in the garment sector, Rizvi said women constitute 55% of the workforce in the sector and questioned whether men have no responsibility in child rearing. Jamaat Islami Army Dr. Shafiqur Rahman on Friday said the party aims to permanently eradicate the culture of dynasty politics and build a Bangladesh where even a rickshaw puller could become prime minister. He made the remark while delivering the speech at an election rally at Feni Government College ground around 10 a.m. Shafiqur Rahman stated that Jamaat would work to build a Bangladesh that fulfills the aspirations of the youth. Those who love Bangladesh will cast their first vote in favor of yes and the second for justice, he added. He also criticized the country's traditional corrupt political practices, saying the people would reject them on February 12. Highlighting harassment of female workers of Jamaat across the country, he said, "We cannot tolerate the humiliation of women." Responding to BNP's promise of unemployment allowances, the Jamaat Amir said, "We will not sit idle waiting for handouts. We will create employment opportunities. We want a united Bangladesh based on justice and fairness. We will move forward, not backward. Our aim is not Jamaat's victory, but the victory of 18 crore people." Addressing Feni voters, Shafiqur Rahman promised to establish a medical college in Feni, resolve long-standing flood problems caused by local embankments, and to build an international standard stadium in the district. With the international parliamentary election on the horizon, NCP today unveiled a sweeping 36-point election manifesto, promising wide-ranging political, economic and social reforms with a strong focus on youth empowerment, accountability and dignity in governance. The manifesto, titled Manifesto of Youth and Dignity, was formally unveiled at a program held at the Lavita Hall of Lakeshore Grand Hotel in Gulshan on Friday. The manifesto launch was attended by NCP convener Nahid Islam, party spokesperson and Central Election Management Committee Chair Asif Mahmood, along with senior party leaders. Diplomats from various countries, representatives of civil society, and journalists from domestic and international media outlets were also present at the event. RAB has arrested 3 suspects in a murder case who were mistakenly released from Mymensingh Central Jail without securing bail. The 3 accused were arrested in Tangal's Khatalu Upazila around 11 p.m. on Thursday, said Mymensingh RAB 14 Additional Police Superintendent and spokesman MD Shamsuzzaman. The 3 arrestees are MD Anis Mia, Rashidul Islam and Zakir Islam. On the evening of January 27, the 3 were released without bail from the Mymensingh Central Jail. After massive uproar over the incident, the authorities quickly formed an investigation committee. At the same time, Zakaria Imtiaz, the Deputy District Officer of Mymensingh Central Prison, was temporarily suspended on charge of the negligence of duty. The body of a poultry businessman was recovered from a pond in Nagar Bazar area of Belabu Upazila on Thursday night, 3 days after he went missing. The deceased was identified as Azimul Qadir Bhuiya from Raghav village of the Bajnabapur Union. Belabu Police Station's Inspector Nasiruddin said Azimul, also a Chhatralik leader of Bajnabapur Union and Belabu Upazila, disappeared on Tuesday around 8 p.m. after leaving his poultry farm. 2 workers recently hired at Bhuiya's farm are also missing along with all the chickens from the farm. The inspector said that after a general diary was filed, police began investigating the case and sought for the missing person. Later in the night, they received information and recovered his body. The body has been sent to Narsingdi Sodor Hospital morgue for autopsy. Viewers, we're taking a short break. Stay with us.
সারা দেশে লাখো মানুষের কঠোর কর্মতৎপরতা ও নিষ্ঠায় এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন 16 কোটি মানুষের হাতের নাগালে। দীর্ঘ 30 বছর ধরে বিশ্বস্ততা ও দ্রুততার সাথে সেবা দেওয়ায় গ্রাহক সেবায় এখন শীর্ষে। বাংলাদেশে গ্রাহক সেবার সাফল্যের পর এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন বিশ্ব বাণিজ্য কেন্দ্র সিঙ্গাপুরে। আপনার যে কোনো পণ্য সিঙ্গাপুর থেকে বাংলাদেশে বুকিং এর জন্য যোগাযোগ করুন। এসএ পরিবহন প্রাইভেট লিমিটেড, লজিস্টিক্স পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস, 22 রবার্টস লেন, সিঙ্গাপুর 218302। ফোন 0065 629 24900।
Welcome back to watching SATV News. News from abroad. US President Donald Trump has stated that Alex Pretty, an intensive care unit nurse who was killed by Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents on January 24, displayed abuse and anger. Trump referred to Pretty as an agitator and insurrectionist, citing a newly released video of him confronting federal immigration officers on Minneapolis Street 11 days before being fatally shot in another encounter with Customs and Border Protection agents. He made these statements on his social media platform, Truth Social, on Thursday. It was quite a display of abuse and anger for all to see. The ICE officer was calm and cool. Not an easy thing to be under those circumstances, he added.
I don't like that he had a gun. I don't like that he had 2 fully loaded magazines. That's a lot of bad stuff. And despite that, I say that
Global problems will not be solved by the one power calling the shots, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said on Thursday as he warned that international law was being trampled and cooperation eroded. His remarks come just a week after US President Donald Trump launched his so-called Road of Peace, initially designed to cement Gaza's rocky ceasefire, but which he foresees taking a wider role, worrying other global powers. Global problems will not be solved by one power calling the shots, nor will they be solved by 2 powers carving the world into rival spheres of influences, Guterres told a press conference to mark the start of his 10th and final year in office. International law is trampled, cooperation is eroding, and multilateral institutions are under assault on many fronts, added Guterres. Guterres also had a warning for the world on the technology. He has made pushing for a governance framework for artificial intelligence
law
a
is
priority.
trampled. Cooperation is eroding, and multilateral institutions are under assault on many fronts.
Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has hailed several new trade agreements pledging to further diversify Ottawa's partners while saying he expects the United States to respect his country's sovereignty. Carney discussed the trade deals during a meeting on Thursday with provincial and territorial leaders. Our country is more united, ambitious and determined than it has been in decades, and is incumbent on all of us to seize this moment, build big things together, Carney said as he hailed 12 new economic and security accords reached over the last 6 months. His comments come amid ongoing frictions with the administration of US President Donald Trump, which has previously pushed to make Canada a 51st state. Carney highlighted in particular a new agreement with China to lower trade levies. That deal prompted a rebuke last week from Trump, who threatened to impose a 100% tariff on Canada.
I'd like to ask, in those conversations, has he ever raised the
Russia said on Thursday that it had taken control of another settlement in Ukraine's Sunny region, while Ukraine on the same day reported precision strikes on multiple Russian targets. Russian Defense Ministry said in its Thursday report that over the past 24 hours, Russian forces continued striking Ukrainian military positions across multiple fronts. Russian tactical aviation attacked drones, missiles units, and artillery targeted 153 Ukrainian sites, including military industrial facilities, radar stations, ammunition.
বাংলাদেশ থেকে সিঙ্গাপুরে পণ্য বুকিং এর জন্য যোগাযোগ করুন ঢাকা সহ দেশের যে কোনো ৮০টি শাখা কেন্দ্রে। এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস, আপনার সেবা সব সময়।
Welcome, Grand Palace Hotel, Dhaka. A majestic lobby blending timeless elegance with modern design.
Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday told his UAE counterpart Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan that Russia was closely monitoring the situation in Iran and wanted to discuss it with him in Kremlin talks. Putin made the comment at the start of the talks with the UAE president, whose country has recently hosted peace talks between Russia and Ukraine. Earlier on Thursday, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said that the potential for talks between the US and Iran had not yet been exhausted, and that any use of force against Tehran could create chaos in the region and lead to dangerous consequences. The European Union has designated Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as terrorist organizations, a move strongly condemned by Iran. Foreign ministers of the EU have taken the decisive step of designating IRGC as a terrorist organization. EU High Representatives for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, Kaza Kala, said Thursday on X. In a press release issued on the same day, the Council of the EU said that it decided to impose restrictive measures on 15 Iranian officials and 6 entities. With the latest decision, the EU's restrictive measures now apply to 247 individuals and 50 entities, the Council said. The measures include asset freezes, travel bans to the EU, and a provision of making funds or economic resources available to those listed. On the same day, Iran slammed the decision. European Union Foreign Policy Chief Kazakullah said on Thursday the region does not need a new war when asked if the bloc would support US military action against Iran. Speaking after the EU designated Iran's Revolutionary Guards a terrorist organization, Kullas emphasized the need for increased pressure and sanctions rather than escalation. Repression cannot go unanswered, Kullas said at a media briefing. France and Italy, which were previously reluctant to list the IRGC, lent their backing this week. Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, signed into a law comprehensive from of the country's main oil legislation on Thursday after she said she received a phone call from U.S. President Donald Trump announcing the lifting of the restrictions on the nation's commercial airspace. The National Assembly approved sweeping changes to the hydrocarbons law that reduce taxes, expand private producer autonomy, and enable asset transfers and service outsourcing. Rodriguez announced during the signing ceremony that Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio informed her that airlines and investors would be able to return to Venezuela as part of ongoing discussions between the two governments. The changes are expected to boost much-needed increase in oil and gas production and foreign investment following Trump's proposed $100 billion reconstruction plan on the industry. Rodriguez also revealed that Venezuela would export its first-ever shipment of the natural gas in the coming hours, with a vessel already positioned in the country. Following the reform's approval, the Trump administration eased sanctions on Venezuela's energy industry through a general license authorizing transactions related to Venezuelan oil exports, according to the U.S. Treasury Department. British Business and Trade Minister Peter Kyle and Chinese officials, including Commerce Minister Wang Wentao, signed various memorandums of understanding on Thursday following a bilateral meeting at the Great Hall of the People during British Prime Minister Keir Starmer's visit to China. China's Commerce Minister told Britain's Trade Minister that Beijing is willing to expand goods and services imports from Britain in pursuit of a more sophisticated relationship between the countries. China is also willing to strengthen trade and economic dialogue with the UK and deepen cooperation in services, investment and finance, Wang told Kyle on Wednesday, according to a statement released by Wang's ministry on Thursday. Indonesia's chief economic minister promised increased financial market transparency and improved corporate governance on Friday after the stock exchange chief resigned to take responsibility for $80 billion share vote. Airlangga Hartarto said authorities were committed to stock market reform and that the country's economic fundamentals remain sound. Proposed improvement measures include doubling the free float requirement of shares to 15%, allowing pensions and insurance funds to increase capital market investment to 20% of the portfolio from 8%, and checking the affiliation of shareholders with ownership of less than 5%. Indonesia's stock exchange CEO Iman Rachman resigned on Friday. Niger's military ruler Abdurrahman Al-Netayani on Thursday blamed the French, Benin and Ivory Coast presidents for sponsoring the attack on Niamey International Airport. Gunfire and loud explosions echoed around Niger's international airport in Niamey shortly before midnight in what two security sources
Experience 5-star comfort in suites and rooms. Sophisticated fine dining restaurant. Crystal clear swimming pool for ultimate relaxation. Modern gym and serene spa for well-being. Perfect venue for corporate events, weddings and parties.
Argentina has declared a state of emergency across parts of Patagonia as massive wildfires continue to burn through forests during the southern hemisphere's summer. The worst fires are concentrated in the Chubut province, where at least 45,000 hectares of forest have been destroyed since mid-January. Hundreds of firefighters are working to contain the blazes.
Seamless and secured. Elegant and eye-catching design. Indulge, relax, discover the first 5-star chain hotels in Bangladesh. Grand Palace Hotel Dhaka, 22 Kakrail, Dhaka, Bangladesh.
Welcome to Grand Club at Mirpur 10 Dhaka. Elegant spa and wellness facility for ladies and gents. play pool and snooker in International Standard Billiard Zone.
Before ending, we'll go through the headlines again. Tariq Rahman returns to Bogura after 19 years, calls for dignified Bangladesh. Jamaat Islami to permanently eradicate the culture of dynastic politics, Dr. Shafiqur Rahman. National Citizen Party pitches 36-point election manifesto, political, economic and social reforms promised with good governance. You're updated with our top stories so far here on SATV, and to know the latest news, visit www.satv.tv. Stay with SATV.